Hello, so welcome back, Wallace and Meadows Real Estate, and we have Angie with Angie Som.
Hi.
Today we're going to talk about a very common question where we have a lot of gatherings, especially in wonderful kitchens like this. And that question is, when having a party, how do we select bottles of wine, and how much wine should we really prepare for X amount of people?
Yes, so I get that question all the time, so thank you for asking that. I think it's a great information to share. Of course, once you buy a nice house like this, you wanted to get everyone to come and party here. So the rule of thumb, and really easy, don't over stress it. If the budget allows, you can always get a little more, because wine, most wine, especially quality wine, you're not worried about it going bad as long as you didn't open it. So you can always kind of over prepare rather than not having enough. But the rule of thumb is, if you're having people over for small bites or even dinner, it's really good to account for 2 glasses of wine per guest per event. And a bottle of wine is usually about 4 glasses. So essentially you want to account for half a bottle of wine per person. So if you have 12 people over, you want to have 6 bottles of wine. Vice versa. So pretty easy, just take the total amount of people coming, divide it by 2, and that's how many bottles of wine you should have. But of course, that doesn't include if you're serving beers and after cocktails or after dinner drink. If you're serving all that as well, then of course, then you can adjust your wine down to be a little less than half a bottle per person.
And do you recommend half of that white, half of it red, or?
If you are really new and if you're someone who gets very stressed planning party, then just keep it half and half, make your life easier. Because at the end of the day, it's about the moment that you're sharing with your friends. If you're over stressing over the process of it, then it's not worth it, right? But if you want to get just a slight bit more advanced, I like to do my white-red combination depending on the environment. So right now it's winter time, and I would tend to do a little more red just because it's colder and people don't want to do white wine as much. And if we're doing, again, even if it's summertime, but we're doing it indoor and we're blasting the AC, then we can still aim for more red because people are still very comfortable into drinking red. But I have the mistake you don't want to make is you don't want to be in the dead middle of the summer when it's like 100-degree out and you're doing a backyard party and serving a bunch of red wine. Then at that point, you really want to lean more towards white.
Unless everyone's going to sleep over.
Exactly. That's right. Exactly. That makes sense.
Good thing we have ride-sharing services.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah.
Now, usually you mentioned people regarding white wine.
Yes.
A lot of people want like Sauvignon Blancs, or they're in the Chardonnay camp.
Yes.
How do you adjust to those palates?
Great question. That's why I bought a bottle to share with you.
It's really tasty, by the way.
Thank you, because I know you're doing a party here later, so I was like, oh, that'll be great. So yeah, that is one of the biggest stress I see a lot of my clients have whenever they're planning a party, because half of their clients will love Chardonnay, the other half will love Sauvignon Blanc, and they're very, very different in style. One is really full body, creamy, buttery, and oaky. The other one is lean, citrusy, and tart and sharp, and it's really hard to just buy one or the other to please both sides of the spectrum. But especially when you don't have that many people over, if you only have 12 people over and you're buying 6 bottles of wine, and you say there's 3 of them are red and 3 of them are white, and having to split that 3 bottles of wine into maybe 1 Chardonnay and 2 Sauvignon Blanc, that's just way too much work. So sometimes I think it's good to think outside of the box. So the wine I brought for you to try today, which I think is great for party, is a unique exotic blend. And you can always ask for recommendation from your reputable, good local wine shop who, if they have people who know what they're talking about, to recommend something different. So in this case, this is a wine that's a blend of Muscadel, Chardonnay, and Sauvignon Blanc, and mostly Muscadel. And the idea here is you have reminiscent of that full bodiness, that creaminess of Chardonnay, the citrus of Sauvignon Blanc, but then you also add something that people are not used to, which is Muscadel grape. And that grape, I don't know if you're getting it from your glass, is very aromatic. There's a lot of like exotic, big flower, almost gardenia-like, lychee fruits. It's very like exotic, very kind of tropical fruit going on here. So it gets people talking. You forget about, because it gets people curious, because it's not like the thing that they always love and have, but they still like it because
I really like it. Yeah, it's really familiar, but it's way outside of the spectrums that you don't focus on it anymore.
Exactly, that's the whole idea. So that instead of people focusing on, oh man, she's serving a Chardonnay when I only drink Sauvignon Blanc, or vice versa, you get people talking something else. They're like, oh man, what is this wine? Hey, Wallace, what's this wine you're serving? Never had this before.
I don't know, call Angie.
Right, no, but I'm just saying that it became an icebreaker. So think outside of the box. Don't think you're refined by either Chardonnay or Sauvignon Blanc or having to split the difference. So try something that is fun, that has both of those quality, but it will get them talking. I think it will be a winner for a party.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So any other tips?
Let's see. The other tip is to, again, not to stress too much about kind of what to pick and whatever have you.
Stemware matters. I guess it depends on the type of party.
That's a very good question. If you can, like, thank you so much for having this awesome stemware. This is Lee stemware that I would recommend everyone should have in their home. This is what we call an all-purpose glass. It will work perfectly for both white wine and red wine. I generally don't recommend buying those tumbler, the ones that doesn't have a stem.
Stemless.
Yes, because what happens is people grab onto it with their hand, and the temperature of your hand can change kind of the taste of the wine. When they warm up the wine too fast, it makes a red wine seem a little too harsh. And then when the white wine warms up too much, it drinks a little flat. So that's what the stem is for. You hold it so the temperature stays somewhat consistent while you're enjoying it. So your guest has the best experience. And it's easier to put a wine charm right around it so people don't get messed up which glass is theirs. So,
fantastic.
Yes.
So while on stemware,
Yes.
you know, after the party, everyone's done. Usually people are really concerned about washing these things. And I have friends who says, you know, I only hand wash these. I throw them in the dishwasher,
Yes.
but can you give a definite opinion or professional opinion on how to take care of the stemware afterwards?
It really depends on the stemware. So I think the way I would divide up how I wash my stemware is how it's made. So generally, when it comes to the stemware market, you will have the machine-made stemware and the hand-blown or mouse-blown stemware. Anything that's mouse-blown, because for the machine-made, they can never make it thin enough. So there's usually always a thickness, a certain amount of steadiness that will be able to handle the kind of the torturous dishwashing kind of regime. But when it comes to hand blown, they're usually bigger glass and really thin. Those you definitely want to hand wash. So I don't have a definite answer, but it really depends on the glass. But will give you one little tip. If you are not sure if your glass is machine or hand blown, this is great because you have exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah, so I was just gonna ask them. So the number one most popular glass brand right now is Riedel, and Riedel will always print their logo on the bottom of their glass. And if you have kind of a cursive writing, those are all mouse blown. But this one is kind of a black letter, so you can always look. And this means it's machine made. And if it's machine made, it's throw it in the dishwasher. So hopefully that makes it easier for you.
So apparently we're both right, depending on the stemware.
Yes.
You know your stemware are the best, you figure out how to wash them.
Yes, exactly.
Well, any more questions with Angie, you can find her at angiesom.com. And then what's a good way for them to get a hold of you?
So if you like to continue the conversation with me, I highly encourage you to subscribe to my mailing list at www.angiesom.com. Every week, I give you a weekly recap on all the videos I made and all the how-to and tips regarding wine. And I also send out regular wine deals for you to purchase. So feel free to join my mailing list, and I'll love to chat with you there.
Great. Stay tuned. The next topic we're going to talk about is some of Angie's favorite spots in Napa and also the Santa Cruz Mountains.
Awesome. Thank you.
You bet.